Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Meeting. I'm stoked today because we are going to be doing another call-in with Keoki Annandale. To give you a little background, his previous best summer was 110K at his previous company, had an amazing experience with all those guys, loved his previous company, but switched because he was interested in leveling up in a massive way. He's at almost 150K. It's June 15th. And so let's call in and see if we can get a little bit of insight into how he's leveled up so much in such a short amount of time. Keoki, what's up, dude? Oh, great. We can't hear him.
Uh,
Oh, wait, I can hear you. Say it again.
test, testing.
Okay, cool. Hey, we're all in. All right, Keoki, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay, Keoki, dude. Well, welcome to the podcast. Want to tell a little bit of your story, right? You sold 110K at your previous company, had an amazing experience. Obviously, I'm sure you were a little bit nervous about making the switch. You know, I remember us talking about things like contract value and all the different things. Well, we're sitting here on June 17th. Your contract value is over $1,100, and your previous contract value was what?
Yeah, I was like less than 700. It was
Okay.
probably like 650.
So massive jump there. Again, you're at almost 150K if I'm not mistaken on the year. Dude, walk us through what have been some of the biggest changes that have helped you level up in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, and let me know if the connection ever gets spotty or if like I start breaking up. But
Cool.
I think the biggest thing is like, yeah, I think like culture actually does make a difference. Obviously, every company like works hard, and every company like loves the summer. But really, at the grit, it's like it's only good vibes. Like they nip negativity in the butt so hard. And especially here, like Tyler's done an incredible job creating a really good culture with the team of, having a ton of positivity, ton of like just belief in the sales process. And if we just keep knocking, we're gonna hit our goals eventually. And so I think that's been one thing. And then the other thing, obviously, it is like genuinely the training and the resources that the grit has. Just because they've had so many high level reps like in the past, it's like they've already figured out everything like about how to be the most effective you can be, like selling pest control door to door. And so like I don't need to figure anything out. It's like this is tried and tested and it works. And so I think that also helps with confidence on the doors, knowing that like the sales process that I'm using is the same sales process that like literally hundreds of other reps have used and sold at an extremely elite level. So just having like extreme confidence in the sales process that the grit trains you on, that definitely helps because I mean confidence is everything on the doors. It's like I know it works. Like there's just so much data to back it up. And yeah, just like the resources on NZ and like you and other leaders, it's like it's just so easy to get better. There's no shortage of training or leadership that you have access to.
Well, dude, obviously not every person that makes a switch has the results that you're having. So yes, there's all the resources, but I think the unique ability you have, Keoki, is you've obviously utilized those resources at a super high level. So let's dive into that for anyone that's, wanting to again level up. Maybe they're here at the company, maybe they're somewhere else. Of all those resources, has there been, can you think of one or two that have really impacted you and why? Whether it's, hey, I was listening to recordings or, there was a training that Cody Olive gave or whatever it is. Maybe dial us down. What are some of those things that have really impacted your sales?
Yeah, I think pitch recordings are huge. Um, like just hearing live sales because we all get the same objections and just kind of seeing how all kinds of like how all the really good reps just deal with it and you can really just copy them and it's like it just works. So I think pitch recordings have been huge.
Dude, let's dive into that for a second. What's something you've heard in a pitch recording that was like a light bulb moment for you that you went and applied and then all of a sudden it worked? Can you think of anything like that?
Yeah, I think like Tyler Wakefield, he'll send in pitch recordings of like his deals that he gets. And something that he does really well is he's extremely simple, especially like with the switchover process. And he keeps his like RTAC, they're just really tight. He doesn't waste any words. There's no fluff. And I mean, that's why he sells so much. And so I think that's been really helpful for me, like simplifying my sales process, is focusing more on like the bugs, building value and like what people actually care about. Um, and just keeping like the RTech process really, really tight and simple. So I think Tyler's recording and simplifying the way that I pitch people.
I love it, dude. Well, dude, I wanna give the people like, a little window into kind of like you, right? So, dude, your process for making the switch was really long. Uh, again, I remember we met in Hawaii. He's from Hawaii. You're from Haula, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, from Hawaii. So we meet there. We have lunch. We're talking about the things, talking about your goals. And I think it was like another 3 months, maybe 2.5, 3 months of just like meeting and thinking. And like, dude, understandably so, there was a lot of skepticism. And one of the things, right, that I remember a specific conversation was about ACV. It's like, how am I going to go from selling 700 ACVs to selling 1,100 ACVs? Dude, what, like, what was the difference there? Was it just like being around people that were doing it that got you to do it? Was there something that you learned that helped you change, or what was it that helped you? Because again, going from 700 to 1,100 ACV is no small feat.
Yeah. And it just goes back to like how the good reps that the grit just figured it out. It's like, I mean, they just know how to sell on value and not price. And um, I think that's the biggest thing. Is just like the whole sales process that we're trained on is designed to like maximize, the account value that, or the contract value, um, that we average. And so um, I guess it just works like the way that the grid does. I'm sorry, that's like all I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Really, just the training is.
Well, and sometimes I think people overcomplicate it, dude, right? They're like, no way. I mean, I'm sure that you were sitting there thinking, like, how is this all going to work out? Like, how am I going to do it? And it's like, hey, Keoki, just trust, learn the trainings, listen to the pitches, do what we say, and it will work. And I think you're just the epitome of someone who you haven't overcomplicated it. Dude, you listened to the trainings, you showed up, you listen to the recordings, you are present in the meetings, right? When Tyler's giving trainings, you go apply them. And so, dude, it doesn't shock me and it shouldn't shock anyone else that you're having the success that you are having. Go back to, when we're 2 months into that process, you haven't made the switch. Dude, are you surprised at where you're at right now, in relation to what you thought you could do?
Um, Honestly, it's like kind of like yes and no. Definitely, like obviously when we first started meeting, I I'd be like extremely surprised to kind of like peeking at what the summers look like so far. Because yeah, I mean, I remember like the first time we got lunch, my wife was like, why are we even doing this? Like, we have no reason to switch. But she's like, oh, it's Cuckoo Farms. Yeah, we can go get free lunch. Like, I'm okay with that.
Shout out,
And then we
shout out
left.
Kahuku Farms, the best garlic bread in Hawaii.
Yeah, but then we left that meeting. We're like, well, shoot. Like, I guess we actually should think about this. Um, but as kind of like we thought about it and met with you over the next couple weeks and months, um, we just built a ton of belief in you and what the grit would offer. And so by the end of it, it's like we were confident in saying like we know that like this is going to put us in the best place to succeed. Um, so like by the time we made the switch, it's like we just knew
Cool.
that this would be different. So yeah, I guess like at the beginning we'd be very surprised looking now, but towards the end of like right up until we're making the switch, it's like okay, like not too surprised. Like this is what we were planning on.
Well, dude, and I'd love to touch on that because I think let's get, raw and authentic for a minute. Dude, it's really easy when you're recruiting someone who's had a bad experience. Cuz going from bad to good is easy, right? That was not you. Dude, you love the guys at your previous company. Dude, they treated you super well. Dude, they trained you. You were like, it's so interesting to see that, when you make a switch, it doesn't always have to be because something is going wrong. Sometimes it can be, hey, I have loved my current position. I've loved the people I've worked with, and I want to level up and go to the next level, and that's okay. And so many people, I think, are afraid at looking at the other option or even exploring other stuff because they're afraid that that means that their current situation is bad. And Keoki, you are the epitome of that. Your situation was not bad. Great people, great company, dude. You know, you'd made the money you were promised, all the things, yet you still made the switch, and it's been amazing. So, what would you say to all those people who maybe are having a good experience at their company? They aren't having anything go wrong, but they feel like there's a next level that they want to unlock and they're just afraid to look into it. What would you say to those people or to yourself, you know, during that process?
Yeah, I would just say, obviously, like, so nothing changes if nothing changes. If you feel like there's a next level that you want to unlock, um, but you're not going to change anything, like, how are you going to unlock the results or that next level that you're looking to go for? It's like if you just like obviously if you're in a really good, really comfortable situation, that's great. But if you can feel within yourself, it's like, well, I think I can get a little bit more out of this job. Something has to change, and so just understanding that, I would say.
Cool. And dude, Kyoki, what's some other stuff? Just now, you know, take companies aside and all that stuff, dude. You're doing something that's working, right? You are out. You're at 150K again. We're barely halfway through June, dude. What is one thing that you feel like you're doing that is just working that other reps, whether no matter what company they're at, they could start doing that would work for them?
I think just like taking the pressure off in terms of not focusing on things out of your control,
Okay.
like being married to the standard, not a goal or an outcome. Like honestly, we can't control how much, like we don't control if people buy or not. And focusing on that just like it stresses me out. I know it'll probably stress other people out too. So just focusing on like your inputs, focusing on your energy, focusing on your positivity and your gratitude and your confidence. All that stuff just helps you be in a way better headspace, and people buy from happy people. So I think, yeah, just taking the pressure off, focusing on what I can control.
Okay, dude. Well, let's talk about that, and we'll kind of end on this, dude. And again, appreciate you being on. Appreciate you being vulnerable, dude. It's cool to just hear different stories, right? And dude, just want you to know, dude, super proud of everything that you've done. Because again, some people talk the talk, but it is rare to see someone walk the walk. And Keoki, you are that, right? You took a bet on yourself. You made a hard change. You bet on yourself, right? And you are walking the walk. And so, dude, way proud to see what you and Macy are accomplishing out there. Um, but yeah, let's end on this, dude. You said you got to be married to the standard. What are Keoki's standards right now that he's married to?
Um, I think a big one is, well, let's see, any importance. I mean, obviously, it's like working all the hours. I would also say like not letting myself tell myself any bad stories, because you're always big on like the stories that you tell yourself matter. And so it doesn't matter if there's another rep in my hood or if it was just knocked a few days ago. Doesn't matter if it's pouring rain or like it's like a standard that I have is just to always tell myself good stories. Doesn't matter if it's true or false. What matters if it's productive, just like Will Barbin said in his training.
Mm.
So only tell myself productive stories, nipping the bad stories in the butt, just getting, keeping my garden up here
Guys,
well
so
well tended.
such bars. What he's saying, guys, is like you can't control the situation. You can't control if someone's knocked your hood. You can't control if you're the third guy. You can't control if it's raining. What you can control is the story that you tell yourself. And so many people are afraid to change the story that they tell themselves because it might not necessarily be true. Like on paper, guys, is it fun if it's freaking pouring rain? No. It is not fun if it's pouring rain, but you can control the story that you tell yourself about that. And so again, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, if it's true or false. What matters is the story productive? And so Keoki, let's just go through a couple of those to give people some of like, a window into Keoki's mind. So it's dumping rain. What most reps are saying is this sucks. I hate the rain. I wish it wasn't raining. My feet are wet. None of those things are productive or helping them get sales. What's the story you are telling yourself when it's raining?
Um, the rain makes bugs go inside people's houses, so people need my best control.
Okay.
I tell myself I'm like way prepared. I bundle up. There's other reps out there who aren't as prepared as me, so it's like I'm in a way better spot than them. You know.
Okay, someone's just knocked your hood. You're the third. You're the third guy. It's Wednesday, and you're the third guy that week. You know what is the story that people usually tell themselves? This sucks. I wish I was here before them. I can't sell. They burned the hood. Dude, what's the story you're telling yourself in that situation?
Generally, like my sales process is sharper. I'm more confident. I'm more happy, and they didn't talk to everybody. It's like there's a ton of deals that they miss. I know I can go rip behind any other rep.
Dude, this has been such an amazing note to end on, guys. Keoki is the epitome of going from good to great. Was in an amazing situation, made a change, bet on himself, is having amazing results. I think one of the reasons he's having those results is because he just is controlling the stories that he tells himself. So if you take anything away from this, take away that the stories that you tell yourself matter. It doesn't matter if the story is true or false. What matters is the story productive. You can tell yourself you're the best rep that's ever knocked this area. It doesn't matter if it's true. Because if you tell yourself that, you're going to start to believe it. And if you start to believe it, it's going to be a productive story that helps you sell. So, Keoki, dude, you're the man. We love you. We're grateful for you. Excited to see you keep winning from the sidelines. And, dude, congrats on all your success you've had thus far.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Parker.
We'll see you, dude. Guys, thank you again for tuning in. Such a cool story. There's so many little nuggets from that. I recommend putting that on repeat. If you want to have the results that Keoki's having, then you got to do the things that Keoki's doing. And just as a reminder, if you're in a situation that's good, but you want to break through to that next level, sometimes it just takes a change of environment. We'll catch you next week on another episode of Good Morning Meeting.